Better yet, riddle me this. You ever notice that people are quick to say, my anxiety, my depression, but it's never my happiness, my joy, my freedom? I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. I have strong determination, and I'm not afraid of change. Whose part was that even? Anyway. Hello, my loves. It is I, Miss Milan, and we are back here for another real talk because you know how we do. You know how we do. It's your favorite cousin, auntie, life coach, internet friend. You already know. Let's talk about it. First things first, housekeeping 101. Make sure you like the video, okay? We love that. The algorithm likes when we like things, and it helps me out. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I don't want you to miss anything. If what I am doing is blessing you, is blessing your soul, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I will be leaving my Cash App below in the description box. That way you can also send donations, tips. That helps this thing keep going, okay? We love reciprocity and we love the movement of energy. All things considered, there is no social media to follow me at. I repeat, there is no social media to follow me at. That being said, we'll talk about that in a different video. Now let's get to this one. In a day and age where we find ourselves consumed by the monitoring and analyzing of ourselves and our mental health, there's this interesting phenomenon that I'm not sure that a lot of people have picked up on. Let me ask you something. You ever been talking to somebody and it seems like you know their whole medical diagnosis before you know about their hobbies? Better yet, riddle me this. You ever notice that people are quick to say, my anxiety, my depression, but it's never my happiness, my joy, my freedom? I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Now, I do want to go on record saying, I'm not here to shame anyone for their condition. If you go back to the video before this, the vaulted video, the first vaulted video that I posted, it was about my own journey with depression and being diagnosed at the age of 17. Yeah, wild times. So I first want to come to you from a place of love and let you know that I understand from a very deep place. I also talk about this in my first book, When We Were Young by D. Milan. You can get it on Amazon, or I will be also linking that down below. There's this saying that I live by, especially as a teacher, as someone who is purposed in this lifetime to pass along the lessons that I've learned. People care to know that you care long before they care to know what you know. Understand that there are shared experiences among us all, whether we identify with anxiety, depression, suffering from those things, or if it's just humanity as a whole. In that, I want to call to question, why is it that we hear more of my anxiety versus my happiness, my joy, my abundance, my prosperity? Let's talk about the word my. When you use the word my, that is ownership. That is you taking possession of something, not something that you're experiencing, but something that you have, something that you keep, something that you own. So therefore, my in and of itself is a powerful word. So when you own something, it becomes you. It becomes a part of you. Have you ever been in conversation with somebody and they go off on a tangent and they say, oh, I'm sorry, that's my ADHD. In that moment, What is it that we're trying to communicate? What is it that we're really trying to say? Are we trying to get ahead of the situation by prefacing with saying, hey, I have this problem, I have this condition, bear with me? And if that is the case, and if that is what we're trying to say, is it important to introduce yourself, to identify yourself that way? Now, the reason that I ask is because oftentimes we're in conversations with people who don't know us. We're getting to know someone, and in my own observation, I've seen that it almost comes across as an apology, a place of guilt, a place of, hey, just in case this seems strange to you, this is why. But we have to ask ourselves, does that negate, does that steal from us the opportunity to show up as we really are? There are some people who just ramble. We all know a couple of old people or a couple of aunts, uncles, cousins who can talk. And long before the era of us identifying with our mental health status, this was just a normal thing. This was just something you tell somebody about your friend. Hey, you get him to talking, he might get to talking all night. It was more of a eccentric personality trait. One thing that I believe in this modality, in the diamond life, one thing that we practice here is being and living in the fullness and totality of who you are, being the fullness of your own diamond, accepting and loving the fullness of your own diamond. So in this practice, when we say I am or I have, it is us defining who we are. So I want to shift a little bit of the way that we think about this situation. As a lover of people and a lover of people in their wholeness, in their fullness, in their totality, I can't tell you how much it pains me sometimes to be meeting someone and to have the gift of empathy and be able to feel the apology in who you are, in what you're saying, in how you express yourself, in how you show up. And when we talk about identifying, especially as it pertains to mental health right now, a lot of people are looking for community. When people say, I experience this, I am this way, it opens you up to a world of other people who are like you, because these types of feelings, anxiety, depression, ADHD, these things can feel very isolating. It can feel like you're the only person who's experiencing it and experiencing it this way, to where it almost feels like it's robbing you of pieces of your life, of ways that you can connect with others. But I'm here to tell you that there is a possibility that the same thing that you feel is to your detriment is actually one of your greatest strengths. What are the odds? What if we start to shift the narrative? What if we identify behind the anxiety what the trigger is? I know that I have to go to this meeting. I've chosen to go to this meeting, and showing up sometimes makes me feel blank. Fill in the blank. What if we take that piece and we say, okay, if I know that's how I feel and how I continuously feel, because to say I am or I have is what I believe what we're trying to acknowledge here is the continuous feeling, this thing continuing to happen. So if this thing continues to happen and it may be a part of you, is this an opportunity to live a life of intention, a life of true self-care, where if you know this is something that you experience, then you create a ritual prior to, or something that helps ease that anxiety. Because we don't have to be prisoners of this. We don't have to be prisoners of our feelings and emotions, because they pass. They pass. Now, it may take some time, but if we allow them to, if we allow ourselves to go through the feelings, they do pass. Depression is not who you are. It's something that you experience. And it's something that you may experience quite often. And there, I also would like us to shift our perspective on the idea of the norm. What is that? There are billions of people on the planet. How can there be a norm? There are hundreds, thousands of cultures. What norm is there in the human existence outside of the human body and communication? What other norm could there be? So a lot of times we find ourselves feeling isolated, feeling otherness, because we don't fit in this bubble or this idea, this social construct of the norm. But what the beautiful thing is about the diamond life, it frees you from being anyone else's definition or version of who you should be. If you know that you get sad, if you know that you experience depression and you understand why and you understand when, and you know your signs of when it's happening, then you create a community of people around you. And I remember I had a friend back in high school who would have days where she would have to clean up, and she was a Disney fanatic. And so she would call those days, even though she didn't love them, Cinderella days. And that was how she kept focus and magic in something that was otherwise mundane. So is there a way that you can free yourself by looking at your eccentricity as something that makes you unique? Yes, you may bounce around to 12 subjects, but the thing about you is you're going to close out 9 of them, and the other 3 going to come full circle by the end of the story. So maybe you're an elaborate storyteller. What we have to know about the way that the world teaches us to identify ourselves is the language that we use taps into the ways that we see ourselves and what we think we deserve. How we believe people should treat us. And we give them cues as to how to treat us. So when you tell the story about your experiences with anxiety, think about a good TED Talk. If you're familiar with TED Talks, which I know my channel is, think about a good TED Talk and how the speakers talk about their experiences with fear, with anxiety, with depression. Oftentimes, the way these stories are told, they turn into some type of Mount Olympus, some type of Odyssey, some type of alchemist type story. And is what they're saying and what they said they've experienced any different from what we've experienced? Or is it the way that they look at the situation? Is it the way that they tell the story? It's a beautiful thing to allow someone to get to know the fullness of who you are. It truly is. Make sure when you open the door to who you are that you show your glory. Your glory. And when it is appropriate, be vulnerable with your pain. Because when we share that information with people who may or may not have a full understanding of who we are individually, because like I said, yes, these things are generalized anxiety disorder, depression, ADHD. Yes, these things can seem generalized, but how it affects each person is very different, and that is highly contingent upon your story. So just because you experience this feeling doesn't mean that you experience it like the next person. Don't you hate that when you finally open up to somebody and you tell them about your business and they're like, yeah, because when I was 9, my fish died and I just couldn't bring myself. Don't make this that. Don't make this that. Understanding and living and coping with these things in a way that allows you to still continue to live freely is understanding your unique experiences, why these things are something that you experience. And knowing that, much like emotions, they come and go. But you, the unchanging, ever constant essence of you, is colored by so many different experiences. And even the experience that caused you to go through the depression, go through the anxiety, feel uncomfortable speaking in front of others, that's a part of who you are too. So maybe the story isn't that, not just that you're shy, but you're strong shy because you did speak once in high school, and the way that the people treated you, maybe it didn't cause you to develop anxiety. Maybe it, we're telling a new story, we're creating a new narrative. Maybe it showed you the value of your words and the audiences that are in alignment and worthy of what it is you have to say. So maybe you're a strong shy type now. You see? You see what we could do there? You see what we did there? You see what we did there? Let's shift the narrative. Let's shift the narrative. For all the times that you may find yourself saying my anxiety, let's my joy, my abundance. Oh, my abundance, it overflows. I mean, this happened and that happened, and the way that my abundance leads me, you see, the way that my prosperity tends to come in, it's just one of those things where, you know how people talk about things so nonchalant, like it's just, yeah, get into it. Get fabulous with it. Get fabulous with what it is that you know you deserve. The lifestyle that you know you deserve. There's no problem with you. You are who you are. And there are reasons why you are who you are, and you own that, and you accept that, and you love that, and you expect others to do the same. In the fullness and the wholeness of who you are. You see what we did there? Y'all, my camera tried to die on me. That's the devil right there. That's that foolishness. But see, all things included, all things said, I want you to know how special you are, and I want you to know that you are perfect as you are. Now, I know some people gonna feel some way about this video, and you gonna get the hemming and hawing inside. I just want you to ask yourself, when and or if you do get to hemming and hawing inside, what is it that you're fighting for? Are you fighting for your right to be just really ask yourself, what is it that's holding you here? Because see, there are a lot of things that I do in my life, and one of the things I'm going to share with you guys very, very soon, it's huge, major announcement. I'll do something big, I'll move somewhere, or I'll start a business, and I'll have people, say to me, Girl, the way my anxiety is set up, I couldn't handle all of that stress. It's too much. That don't really sit right in the lining of conversation. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? But if we had this, if I were, speaking to someone and we had this conversation and I said that to them in line of conversation in real time, you get, well, I'm different than other people. I have, and it's like, what are you arguing for? What are you arguing with me or with yourself? That's a different video for a different time. We're definitely going to get into that. Either way, I want to let you guys know that you are loved, that you are special, and that you have the right to live a life by design, not default. That's what we believe here. So like said, make sure that you like this video. If it touched you, blessed you, gave you something to think about, I want to hear about it in the comments, okay? Drop down in the comments and let me know what this brought to you. If you haven't noticed, we're in a little bit of a different spot, but I like to move spots. Consistency is cool, but showing up is more important. So we show up. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure, I just launched the Patreon. It's $7.77 a month, $7.77 a month. Okay, I'm running out of space, so I'm working hard here. In the Patreon, we'll have more in-depth conversations like this. I mean deeper, because there's some things that we talk about on YouTube. There's some things we don't. There will also be the spiritual aspect of what we do here. For those of you who know, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a spiritual practitioner. Hence the way these conversations, these be messages that come through. But we also do divination and things like that. So we'll get a little bit more into that on the channel and in the Patreon. All things considered, I love you to life. I truly, 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 truly do. My phone's not going to let me do this appropriately, but I just wanted to say bye. Bye.